Alright, let's go. And we're off. Start finish line is somewhere here. We're about to come up into Wantabadgery. Oh, 50k an hour. There's a right-hander here. So I need to figure out, is the finish line before or after this right-hander? We'll see tomorrow when we line up. It'll be the finish start line, I guess. And we're going to turn onto Juni Road for the 31k loop. So I think somewhere here could be finish line. We'll see tomorrow. And some other folks out riding the course. It's nice to see. I wonder if you'll ever catch it all. Yeah, I think so. Half an hour. Alright, so here's the corner. We're in Wantabadgery. Nice in the general store. Oh, this is a bit tighter than I thought. Street, which turns into River Road. So there's this corner. Slow down a little bit. I'm doing 50k an hour here. A little bit camber, pothole left side. Oh, bit of a lump in the middle too. And then we come into 100k an hour zone as it straightens out. Hang on, what? I'm not turning up there. I think the map's gone a bit crazy, but that's alright. So we're on River Road. We're going to be on here for a while until I think we hit Wura Road. This is 100k an hour. No centre line markings. Surface seems fairly smooth. It's not quite hot mix, but it's not as pointy as elsewhere. Potholes have been fixed. And we're going to take it up to 100k an hour. Very flat. Quite exposed. That hillside on the left might amplify a westerly wind a little bit, but if it's coming more from the northwest, then probably not. We are currently heading pretty much west. Whoop, there's a corner. Now we're turning more towards the south. We've got these trees here. Might act as a bit of a windbreak. So not much crosswind action probably here. Road surface is pretty good. Most of these potholes seem to be filled. Not anything really to worry about. And off we go. We've got another sweeping left. Camber on the inside. Should be pretty fast. Certainly no need to hit the brakes or anything if you're on bike. We're still at 100k an hour. River on our right hand side. We're going to get into a bit of a windy bit here. Still good surface. And again we've got some trees, a big stand of trees to the left, so be a bit protected in here. The wind right now seems to be completely calm. Everything's green and beautiful from, I guess, a lot of rain lately. Tailwind here tomorrow. There's not much point in attacking to a tailwind. Maybe, depending on how strong, but it's 20k an hour, so it's probably not going to make a decisive difference. And certainly if you do get up the road, you've got to be seeing lots of long open stretches. So getting away, you'll only really be out of sight on some of these corners, I guess, if you do manage to get away. road markings to do a how many seconds ahead count. Right. And what else? This corner is very smooth and long. Still very good surface. A little bit dirty, but that's fine. We're getting close to the point where we'll start heading up north. We're still heading west, southwest. Slow down for this one. And then windy for the next 2 kilometres. Remember that sign? That's probably the sign to remind you that there's going to be a climb coming up. So we'll need to be positioned at least in the top half and ideally close to my main competitor. Go up the hill here, it'd be a bit of a pinch, so expect the taxi. This could be one of the steepest little pinches of the whole course, I think. Not particularly wide roads. And there's a caravan coming your way. Oh, this is a good pinch. This is a decent bit of angle. It's only short, but someone's probably going to have a crack there, surely. Seems to keep winding and winding, still going up, still going up, still going up, and crest. And then other side, yeah, that's a pretty good downward pitch to try to get a gap if anybody's had a go. So something could happen there. I don't think the wind will play a factor in here though, because we're behind the lee of that hill and there's still a few trees, but here there's definitely some exposure and a tailwind, and the tailwind should be evening things out just a little bit in favour of any breaks that might form. Alright, here comes that corner. We're going to go up towards north, still heading west-southwest at the moment. This should be a fairly tight corner over this crest. A little downhill, a little uphill. I don't think there's going to be any meaningful attacks to be done there, but there's this downhill here. I might have a nudgy on this downhill if I can get past it a good clip. See how long it goes down for. Still going down, still going down. Narrow bridge should be the bottom of it, shouldn't it? Well, yeah, narrow causeway maybe. Is there a lump here? Yeah, a little bit. That's alright. And very flat now, maybe slight incline, and we're starting to head northwest. Only just. Only a little bit of north, mainly still west. Then up ahead there'll be some more windy bits where we're close to the river. The river's on our right hand side right now. As we come to the next left hand of the river, should be pretty close to the road. It is a little kick to the right first, and it's probably right at the end there where the sign is where it kicks off to the left. Road surface still looks good. No serious potholes to be seen anywhere. Nice and flat. This is very exposed. But if there's a northerly here, then yes, we'll have crosswinds. Crosshead probably, given that we're kind of heading north. Well, I've been saying west, it's actually been northeast, hasn't it? We go straight through there, we do not turn, do not pass go, do not collect $200. And on we go. It is a fairly long straight to get to that left-hander. Yeah, so we've been heading east, not west, correction. I've been saying west this whole time, it's actually east. Let's see now. What are those things? So we do a doughy burnout. Yeah, nice burnout. There's a lot of rubber on the road. And here's that left-hander which is pretty tight. And I think that from memory there's a little climb here. And it's more of a pinch than a climb. But yep. Maybe coming into this again, need to be positioned towards the front. But I don't want to be breaking the wind for most of that, right? Yeah, that's a decent enough grade, and then it sort of kicks up. It's probably 6 or 7%, but I'm guessing this corner might even be a 10%er by the time I get right into the apex here. But then it should crest pretty quickly too. Still climbing, still climbing, still climbing. A little dip and then some more climb as we swing to the right. And then up we go again, probably 5, maybe 6%. And then, are we crested yet? We're going to come down. And there's a 45 25k an hour corner here. Yeah, but that's going to be flat out on the bike. And again, a bit of opportunity to push. So I think there'll be like rolling attacks through these and potential for split. So close attention to be paid in that section. So maybe I think so far it's positioning to save energy on those long straights we're exposed to and then saving energy to make sure that if a brake goes, I'm in the brake. Alright, still a little decline, go down, and then we should be flat from here on pretty much. And now we're heading north-northeast. The sun on my left-hand side, tomorrow they're coming from the right obviously, earlier in the day. And there's these trees here, but they're not that much of a windbreak, but they will decrease the impact of the wind just a little bit. So tomorrow there could be crosswinds coming from the left-hand side along here. And we're still on River Road, and we're approaching Ura Road, left-hand turn. This is now heading northwest, almost north, and very exposed to the wind, except we've got hills on the left-hand side at about 500, 600 metres distance. But I suspect the wind will come down those hills as well. So we should be pretty exposed. And there's a slight uphill gradient here too. The right-hand side, there's a few patches that don't look so great. So if I'm binning it on the right-hand side in order to deny anyone my draft, there's probably a few places to watch out, but certainly still worth doing. This is now dead north and very exposed. The hills to the left are now further away, and there's even a bit of a gap between the hills. So we should, whatever wind there is tomorrow will definitely be felt here. It just depends on the speed of the wind and the direction, obviously. The velocity, as something physics might say. On we go. Alright, Ura Road coming up in 1.5 kilometres, left-hand turn. That will see us going west. I thought Ura Road was going to be going north, but we're heading north right now. Interesting. I'll have to have a look on the map just to be clear about directions here. But yeah, right now we're heading almost dead north, probably a bearing of 350 and 750 metres to the left-hand turn. Road surface a little bit more jagged here, but still smooth overall and no potholes of any worrisome kind. And there comes the intersection. Car left-hand side, right-hand side. We're going to turn left up here. Tomorrow this intersection obviously will be closed, so we'll be stopping traffic to the right. This is a fairly tight corner. Whoa. Oh, it's a very tight corner. And now we are heading west already. Oh, this is the client. That's why it's west. Right, okay. So that was the north bit, and as we turn into Ura Road, this is the first climb. So this is the part I drove before, and I think this initial climb is probably the most meaningful. So it's kind of probably 4 degrees, 4% here, but then I think it kicks up just about here next to this first dead tree, maybe to about 6, maybe 7%, and then we crest here where that left turn indicator is. G'day people, good to see you. And then we go downhill. So if there is a break, there's a chance to consolidate here on the downhill. So I think people are really going to fucking mac that climb back there as a means of breaking it up. That's got to be an attack section, especially on the last lap. That will be decisive. And then it'll depend what is formed as a break and whether that break can be closed. This feels like we're going up, maybe at about 1 or 2%. It's not flat, and the surface here is fairly rough. It's not as hot mixy as some of the other parts of the course, and it is very exposed and open. I can see for probably 1.5 kilometres behind me almost, definitely 1 kilometre. So if we are getting away here, we'll definitely still be in sight. It could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the size of the break and how motivated people are to chase, or how much they're going to sit back thinking, hey, that's not a meaningful break. Still like a minor gradient here, maybe 1-2 degrees. These folks riding the course too, yeah, probably are. And then what have we got up here? It kinks to the right, gradient's probably up 2-3% here, I guess. We swing to the right, there's a rusty shed thing on the left, some chicken feed lot things, silos. And then here's a reasonable climb, probably 3-4 degrees, but looks a bit longer, so let's see how long that is. That's 100 meters, 200 meters, 45.4, and that's 500 meters. What you got for me, climb? And then after 800 meters, it seems to flatten out, or maybe even slight downhill, false flat. Probably slightly downhill here, yeah, just a little bit. And road surface is a bit rougher here as well. Still gravelly kind of top, and a bit lumpy. There's a lot more bumps I can feel now driving on the other side. But these corners don't mean anything. It'll be, oh, there's a strip along there that's a bit kind of nasty. And then, that's alright, that's alright, those holes are okay. Now, probably slight incline up here. It's still very wide open, and there's some trees here to prevent the wind getting into things. We are now heading directly west on Ura Road and going uphill by about 2 degrees. This is probably the other main part of the climb here. So as this straight opens up with the yellow flowers on the left-hand side is where the action will probably happen again for whoever is together here. There's a little ramp at the end here. This looks like it's about 8% roughly, maybe 7, maybe 6, but somewhere in that range. Let's see where the crest is on this. Some lumps on the left-hand side, a few potholes that have been covered up on the left-hand side, and then crest now, slight downhill, and pretty much flat but slightly undulating going down and up and down, but only just. More sort of lumps in the road rather than being any kind of grey. And yeah, surface is a bit bumpy, but okay, still totally reasonable in terms of being able to ride it without concern. So it feels really flat. I think we're going up, maybe 1%, maybe 2%. It feels very flat, so totally suits me as a ruler. Happy with that. Some bumps. This corner where it says 65, I don't know why it says 65. It looks like it's a very innocuous corner. I'm doing 100. And then maybe in this bit, or maybe in this next bit. And then here's this little ramp. The initial part of this is probably 8 degrees here, and then it sort of comes down to 5. And keeps going. Maybe this is 2%. Maybe it's flat now. If not, at least flat here. A few little lumpies that have been covered up. And then we got this last bit, I think. This is probably the end. So big green field on the left with the crest sign on the top means we are at the crest. So up we go. And then here, if I'm in a good place, it's time to punch it. So let's see, 450.5. Let's call it 450.4. And here we've probably got a 7 or 8% descent. And very smooth flowing corners. Same sort of road surface, a bit rough. Lumpies here and there, a bit of a strip down the middle to avoid most of the holes on the left-hand side. Where's the wind going to be coming from tomorrow? Probably fairly headwind, given that we are now heading southish. Yeah, fairly southish. Southwestish, south-southwest. Still flat. There's a lot of line of sight behind, so if people do get away here, there'll be high incentive to catch, especially if we're rolling into the final finish. Unless we've made a big enough gap to disincent if we get a westerly wind, there's a little bit of protection there. And if there is wind, I'd be bidding it on the left-hand side of the road if I've got anybody with me to try to deny them as much as possible. Really getting on the edge. We're now at 3 k's from the crest. I can't see signs for Wantabadgery yet. There's that, what's that green thing up there? Does that say Wantabadgery? No, that's just more farmland. So I think it was 4k from memory to roll into the finish, and we're about to get to the point where I pulled over earlier before mounting the camera up. So we're going to come down in here, and there's the 50k an hour ahead sign. We're now at 4k, so just before the 50k an hour sign will be at 4k, and I think we'll probably be averaging 50k an hour down there at least. So I have to figure out what that looks like in terms of how long, but I don't think it's unreasonable for 10 minutes from crest to finish line on that lap. Alright, so I think that's almost the lap, depending on where they set the finish line. There are a few little lumps here that have been filled in. Nothing too disconcerting, but it'll be interesting to see where they put the finish line. Right, here we go. We're going to turn left. Or are we? Well, yeah, let's turn left and then we'll demount the camera. And that, my friends, is the lap of Wantabadgery. Thank you for driving with Auto Course Ricky. We do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, hit the like button down the bottom. Bye!